Hello everyone, I'm Ed Mann. I'm Creative Director of CCYS, which stands for Crawley Community Youth Service, and we've been providing young people from around Crawley with opportunities to be creative ever since we got status as an essential service, which was just after the first lockdown. So we prepared a little video to show you some of the things that we've been up to, we hope you enjoy it. We're very happy to be part of Right Here Festival, and please do check out the presentations from all of the rest of the festival. Thank you very much.
In this video, we'll be showing you some of the ways that the young people of CCYS, with the help of the staff, have been able to remain creative and optimistic since March 2020. When the first lockdown happened, it was an unfamiliar, confusing and potentially scary situation for everybody. From March to July, we weren't permitted by law to open for indoor sessions. National Youth Agency guidance was red, which allowed no indoor sessions. However, from the first week of August, in line with official guidance from the National Youth Agency, and having been given essential service status, CCYS was able to reopen for small groups of young people. And although we couldn't run our usual full youth club sessions, it did mean that we could resume music, art and sports clubs while still adhering to the maximum numbers and COVID safety guidelines. After running these sessions for a couple of months, we received an exciting phone call from ITV News who wanted to come and film CCYS at one of our two buildings, Dorman's Youth Arts Centre. They wanted to film a short news report showcasing how we were operating through these difficult times and the positive effects that the sessions were having on our young members. This footage is from the day they visited us on the 22nd of October. Here we can see Audio Active running a session from the CCYS mobile studio outside Dorman's Youth Arts Centre. Audio Active have run weekly sessions for CCYS for 3 years, helping young people to write, record and perform music, both from Dorman's and remotely at locations around Crawley, using the mobile studio. In this video, they're teaching about rhyming couplets to create a rap that the young people perform for the ITV film crew at the end of the session. Now we're going to have a quick tour around Dorman's Youth Arts Centre to give you an introduction to some of the other activities we have been able to run since reopening. Whereas before March, we were running regular weekly clubs for 50 to 60 young people at a time. Restrictions on numbers meant that we could only have 15 young people in a session. This meant we had to run multiple sessions to engage as many young people as possible. We ran cookery clubs like this one from the Dorman's kitchen. And here, the young people in this art session are making some of the decorations for the Halloween party sessions that took place the following week. In this session, the young people are working on a graffiti project. We have run several of these projects at CCYS, including one in which the young people graffitied one of the outside walls of Dorman's Youth Arts Centre. During the summer of 2020, we primed another wall in preparation for a group to graffiti as soon as possible, probably in the spring when the weather gets better. Fingers crossed. We've also been able to run separate sessions of up to 15 young people for various sports activities outside in the court. Here's the graffiti wall I mentioned earlier. And here's the white primed wall ready for the graffiti project in spring 2021. On the day, ITV interviewed some of the young people to talk about their thoughts and feelings on the situation since March, how they were coping, and how CCYS has supported them. They also interviewed some of the staff, discussing how we've had to adapt to ensure the safety of everyone, while still providing an environment for the young people to express themselves emotionally and artistically.
Looking at the sun, early in the morning, my mum's cuddling to wake me up until yawning. I know I have to go to school, but it's so boring. I'd rather stay in bed with my kitten still snoring, pretending to be sick.
The ITV film crew concluded by filming the audio active session and a performance of the complete rap piece that they were working on with the young people at the beginning of this video.
Sometimes I don't wanna be happy. Don't hold it against me. If I'm down, just leave me down, let me be sad. Sometimes I just wanna be lonely. Don't need you to hold me. If I'm hurt, don't need to care, let me be sad. What's the matter with that? Oh, oh, oh. What's the matter with that? Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, really good for that. Excellent.
The following week was our festival week, and we ran multiple Halloween parties for our junior sessions so that they could all join in the experience with groups of 15 at a time. Many of the decorations were made by the young people during the art sessions of the previous week, as seen here.
Does anyone want to play a game? Yeah! That weren't loud enough. Does anyone want to play a game? Yeah!
Our festival week also included taking one of the senior session rock bands down to Brighton Youth Centre to perform at Beefest. Beefest is Brighton Youth Centre's annual youth club festival. CCYS rock bands have performed at the event for 4 consecutive years, but the festival was cancelled in 2020 as it usually runs in May to coincide with and be part of Brighton Fringe Festival. The new October date was designed to work with the National Youth Agency guidelines on restricted numbers of young people attending sessions. Although this meant there could be no live audience at the venue, the entire event was filmed for broadcast on Brighton's local TV channel, Latest TV, and for posting on a dedicated YouTube channel. Here's footage of the band performing a cover of Blink-182's All the Small Things, live at Beefest, October 2020. The band were interviewed after their set to talk about how they've managed to carry on making music throughout 2020. Here's Joe, Presley and Daniel.
Hi, I'm Joe and I play the drums.
My name is Presley, I am the lead vocalist and play a little bit of the guitar.
I'm Daniel and I play bass.
Okay, cool. And what is, I think you have a lot of like maybe funk influences.
Yeah, I mean we mainly just do covers and stuff at the moment, but you've written a lot of original songs, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done quite a little bit of songwriting dabbling into it, but we mainly do like the old rock songs from like the early 2000s, 1990s, punk rock, alternative rock, all that lot.
Mm-hmm. So all the best music.
Yeah.
No, I mean good stuff.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And where are you guys from?
We're from Crawley.
Oh. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that, because I think you guys are associated with the Crawley Youth Centre.
Yeah, so, do you want to
we're the CCYS band essentially, and we do a lot of like charity stuff. We do like car shows every year. We do Christmas gigs, we do Halloween gigs, we do all sorts just to like sort of like raise awareness of like the charity organisation for youngsters who may be in trouble needs and all that lot.
So how does how does music come into all of that? What do you think? What is the relevance of music in terms of this kind of work?
I think music is all about bringing people together. Like it doesn't really matter where you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak. It's like if that one song comes on, every single person in the room is like one.
Right.
That makes sense. So it's very easy to like unite over music in such areas like Crawley, where there's such diversity of where people have like came from. And it's like, it's good because it makes everybody, like, the community, like, stronger just through playing music together, really,
And especially, I think, in these times also, when everyone is just going apart, I think it's important to sometimes,
I think music has, like, a really big influence, especially on, like, our community quite a bit, because with what we've seen through the years of doing this, with all the songs and all the performances and gigs, is that it's brought a lot of people together, and that we've sort of built a bigger community on it. We have younger ones wanting to play music, we have new people joining all the time wanting to play bass, guitar, sing, and it sort of puts the mind at ease, essentially, because everyone's going through like a really tough time, and sort of music's just holding it all together.
And how long have you guys been playing together?
4 years.
It's been it started off as, it wasn't CCYS to begin with, it was called Rock School, and that was a pub called the Black Dog, and that would have started when I was 12, so about 5 years ago.
Okay.
The person that started was my dad, good old Dave. He started off because I played drums and I never had anybody to play with, so he was like, we're just going to make like a sort of rock school with Ed, the guitarist, and Ash and a few others, and then it sort of just like snowballed from there. So
We created it. We created the band for Joe when he was 12, and he's now become my drummer in my band, which is pretty cool.
Yes, the man and I.
I'm behind the scenes.
That's where it's led me. The CCYS. It's led me into the band. As I say, the man and I. And it's taught me everything I knew really about playing live, playing drums. We advertised the rock school, didn't we? And then we just had all you guys turn up, and we've had some people who have grown up. They've kind of got to 18 and formed their own band and gone to college for music and moved on. We just get people keep coming and moving up. There's a big age range. I think the youngest person we had in the band was 9. Jacob was 9.
Yeah.
And Joe's 17.
Yeah.
I mean, we all joined from like different like backgrounds and stuff. Like I was introduced to Ed, Joe, Ash, Dave by Beats, Bars and Loops with my local school back in year 8, and we went to the Langley Green Community Centre, and I got introduced to everyone, and we did we did a gig in like the town of Crawley, and then Dave told me to come along and keep doing it, and I've just continued from there and been there ever since.
Nice. And have you played here before at the Crawley Youth Centre?
Yeah, we played there. I played here like 4 times. I think you've played here.
This is my second time playing here, same with Daniel.
Yeah.
We did one last year with a big audience, but COVID hit. Sucks.
So what do you think about this space as a venue for playing?
I think it's amazing. It's such a cool place. It's got the whole skate park in the roof going on. It's got the whole like artsy stuff, it's a really nice environment, especially because it's in Brighton as well.
Yeah.
And Brighton's just the best place in the entire world, if you ask me. It's just amazing, and it's I think it should be the capital of England.
We can start the movement from here.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. You go to London, and London's trying to be more like Brighton. It's trying to copy Brighton. Exactly. So it's like,
Let's start a petition, man.
Exactly. This is the capital.
All right, that's cool. Do you want to say something else that we might have missed? About your music, about yourself,
About inspirations, dreams, anything?
I think the dream with this and like the goal with all of this is just to bring everyone closer and sort of get ourselves out there and like what we stand for, because we do have quite a lot of inspirations. We have the Man in I is an inspiration. We have
Nice one, dude.
We have many bands and like sort of really big figures that sort of inspire us to keep doing what we're doing.
Kurt Cobain's a big one for me. He's amazing. I think Tool, they're really good. They're one of my big drum things. I'm trying to think of any of the drums that I've been on.
We've got Tool, Nirvana, Green Day, Blink. We have all sorts of inspirations that we just like to take from and just sort of project our own message.
We did some older stuff like Queen as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
But what Queen songs we do?
We do
Another one bites the dust.
Crazy.
Yeah, we got quite. We had about 12 Green Day songs, I think, and about 5 Queen songs in the set at one point. So we had to drop some at the risk of becoming like a tribute act.
We also had
But
more quieter songs, like Valerie, sort of like going on alongside the aim.
Oh, yeah, that was the first ever song that was played at Rock School.
Yeah.
That's
We also had like Chasing Cars, Wonderwall, Oasis. We had sort of like lower, like more quiet songs, but then we thought louder songs will cross the message more. We still do the quiet songs, but we think the louder songs will sort of just get everyone up on their feet.
Yeah, that's the thing. Alright, good to Yeah, the bass guitarists, they aren't speaking a lot, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Too cool.
But then we had one band where the bass guitarist was the front man, so, you know, he was like, after years of operation, I'm like, speaking about the bass guitar. So you want to say something? Do you want to wave to the camera? Yeah.
Hi, Mum.
Good luck with your music.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Well, there we are. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll leave you with the band playing another track from their performance at Beefest.
Why can't we not?
in the morning. My mum's cuddling to wake me up until yawning. I know I have to go to school, but it's so boring. I'd rather stay in bed with my kitten still snoring, pretending to be sick. I do a great cook, but it doesn't work. I still don't get the day off. There's a crack in my curtain, just like my heart broken. I'm shining in the eyes, and I've only just spoken. Sometimes I don't wanna be happy. Don't hold it against me. If I'm down, just leave me down, let me be sad. Sometimes I just wanna be lonely. Don't need you to hold me. If I'm hurt, don't need to care, let me be sad. What's the matter with that? Oh, oh, oh. What's the matter with that? Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, really good job there. Excellent.
Hi, today we're going to be making Eve's pudding, which is the traditional English pudding. It's great for autumn because autumn in England, the apples are everywhere. So it's very, very easy to do. Now what we're going to use, all the ingredients are over here. The apples we're going to use are these, which are Bramleys, which are nice and tart, and they add an extra level of flavour. You can use eating apples if you prefer something sweeter, but these are the traditional ones. Although I do often just throw in any other apples around the house that may be past their best. They're great for this. So as well as the apples, what it is topped with is a Victoria sponge cake, which is the most forgiving cake mix you can ever make. It's very, very easy. So the first stage is to peel and deal with your apples. If you're full on traditional, you will chop them and you will put them into a pan with some water, lemon juice and sugar, boil them for 5 minutes before you put them in. I'm doing this for the family and I'm doing it the quick way, which is I have just sliced them very thinly in the food processor, which means that they cook very easily. Right, lots of apples. And what we add to that is sugar, now I put in the recipe about 2 tablespoons, but really this is to taste. If you know your family like things sweeter, then you make it sweeter. Brown sugar also adds a different depth of flavour. What you really want to do is just to make sure that the apples are coated. I'm also going to put in a teaspoon of cinnamon, because that's just adds another flavour. It's optional. If you like cinnamon, if you don't, you leave it out. I'm going to get my hands in here now, just to make sure that it's thoroughly coated to the bottom. They were quite large apples, so possibly 2 large ones would have done nicely. And because of that, I'm going to put in just a little bit more sugar, because my family have a sweet tooth. Right, I'm just going to rinse my hand and then we'll start on the sponge cake. Okay, now Victoria sponge cake is the easiest cake you can make. You can do it step by step, or it'll even forgive you if you just throw all the ingredients in and batter it to death. I'm going to use the mixer, which is going to be a bit noisy in sections. My granny would have used a wooden spoon, and that is a bit hard work. We used to just share the mixing amongst the family when it was wooden spoon time, but it's no problem with this. But one thing it does do is spit everywhere, so this is my little gadget. Right, so you need butter or margarine. I actually quite like the butters that got a bit of oil in them. I think they give a lighter result. So you put the butter in with the sugar, and and you're going to cream it, and it's going to be a bit noisy for a second. I do this, this is the stage where it spits all over the kitchen counter. If you don't, so you whip that until it's what we call light and fluffy, which just means the sugar and the fat has all mixed in together. I use the old ounces for remembering the recipe because it is 3 eggs and then it's 6 of everything else, 6 of flour, 6 of sugar and 6 of fat. If you like things really precise and in grams, what you do is you weigh your eggs. So these are just over 6 ounces, 3 eggs. But you weigh your eggs and you match it with the exact quantities of everything else. But if you're around then and about and you want to remember it easily, it's 6,663 in ounces. Or cups, or tablespoons, whatever you want to do. So 3 eggs. Again, you can add them one at a time if you like it gently, but I'm just going to batter on. Right, noisy again. There you go, we have a nice smooth mixture. If it curdles at this stage, just when you put the flour in, that'll just sort that out. So in with my flour, which I have sieved, because it makes it a bit lighter. Again, it will forgive you if you've got an electric mixer. If you don't, there's 1 teaspoon of baking powder in there as well. So we just need to get some air in there. I advise stirring it first before you put the mixer on, or you can gently fold in the flour. Our cake mix done. And all we're going to do now is use it as the topping onto this. Make sure any loose flour is incorporated. Lots of people make apple crumble and we do eat it a lot in our house, but this is the first one I ever taught my kids to make, and it just makes a nice change to have the sponge instead of the crumble. Obviously Eve's pudding, named Eve because of the apple reference in the Bible. Everything with apples in is named after Eve these days. Right, and that is it. It's going into an oven which I've preheated on 160. It's at least 30 minutes, usually slightly more towards 45. It probably depends on how well your apple is cooked. I'm going to give it a little bit longer, but just until it's golden brown on the top. And we'll see you later. Okay, so it's out of the oven now. It was nice and golden and firm to the touch, and that's how I knew it was ready. It has been sitting for a while because we decided to eat it after our main meal, so it's sunk a little bit. But fresh from the oven, it should be nice and domed. There we go. Serious piece. So you can see all the soft, oozy apple. And we serve it with a good dollop of custard.